Every close course will tell you to make a checklist. That's like giving someone a shopping list and calling it a diet plan. A shopping list will tell you what to buy, but a diet plan tells you what each item does for you, which ones are essential, and which ones you're buying out of habit. Your close has 80, 100, maybe 150 tasks. Some produce financial statements. Some exist because the auditor requires them. And some, honestly, exist because nobody ever stopped to ask why they are even needed. This lesson gives you a way to tell the difference. Let's go directly to the file. Task 53. Post AP accrual entries, GRNI and estimated. 5 columns, G through K. Let's open this. Supplier is procurement manager, cost center manager, staff accountant. 3 people have to give you something before this task can start. Column K, the customer. Senior accountant on the GL side. That's who needs your output. 3 columns in between. Input, process, output. Every task in this tracker has all 5 filled in. The supplier column is where most of the friction hides. 3 suppliers means 3 people can delay you. Let's take another one. Task 87. Different task, but same structure here. Task 87 is bank reconciliations. Inputs are GL cash balances and bank statement balances. The output, completed reconciliation plus a reconciling items list. 2 customers need it. The controller for sign-off and the auditors for testing. Let's look at a different one. Task 9. Collect goods receipt cutoff confirmation from operations. The supplier is outside finance entirely. Operations manager. The customer is inside finance. Staff accountant on AP inventory. This task is a handoff across the department boundary. You don't control the supplier. And that pattern matters when we get to upstream dependencies in lesson 8. What you just saw across these 3 tasks is called SIPOC. Supplier, input, process, output, customer. It's a Lean Six Sigma tool for mapping any process step. Once you have it filled in, you can see where each task data comes from and where it goes. Now let's talk about column N and M. This classifies every task into one of 3 types. Task 9, collecting GR cutoff confirmation from operations, NVA, which means non-value add. In the ideal state, operations should push this data to you automatically through the ERP. No email, no chasing, no waiting. So this task here exists because the handoff isn't formalized. Count how many tasks in the data request subphase are NVA. All 27. And it's not a coincidence. It's a structural pattern. We will address this, as I said, in lesson 8. Task 53. Posting AP accruals, VA, means value add. This directly produces a number that shows up in the financial statements. If this task does not happen, the balance sheet is wrong, simply. Clear case. Now task 87. Bank reconciliation, BNVA. So it's business necessary or business non-value add. It doesn't produce a number in the financial statements. The GL balance already exists. But you do it because it's a required control. SOX, JSOX, your local equivalent. The auditors test this, so you cannot eliminate it, but you should make it faster. So that's the gray zone, and it's where most classification mistakes happen. Let's have a quick look at this 10 KPI dashboard I mentioned. If you open on the rows here, you will see a set of KPIs. KPI number 4, value add ratio, 36.3%. That's calculated by the number of hours spent on this. 36 cents of every dollar of close effort goes to tasks that produce financial statements. The rest goes to controls and compliance or to waste. By the task count calculated separately, it's 49 of 127 tasks which go to VA, so it's 38.6%. But this means that less than 4 in 10 are actually value adding. Every dropdown in column N constrain your choices to 3 values. As we said, VA, BNVA, NVA. You cannot type value add with a training space. In lean manufacturing, this is called Poka-Yoke, error proofing by the source. It prevents inconsistency that would break formulas downstream. And here is why 3 categories matter and 2 wouldn't work. Imagine you only have VA and NVA. Let's talk about bank reconciliation. Is it value add or non-value add, so waste? It doesn't produce a financial statement number. So by a strict definition, that would be NVA. But if you call it waste and try to eliminate it, you fail your next audit. So you say, okay, let's call it VA instead. But then putting it in VA, nobody questioned whether you could do it in half of the time. It's protected. So this binary classification forces you to lie about one category or the other. BNVA is the honest middle. The task exists for a legitimate reason. It can't be eliminated, but it can absolutely be made faster. Let's look at task 125. The close retrospective, BNVA. If you classified it as a waste, NVA, you would have just labeled the one mechanism this course gives you for continuous improvement as something to eliminate. That would be backwards. The retrospective is business necessary. The question isn't whether to do it. It's how to do it well enough that it actually produces change efficiently. 3 categories, 3 action plans. VA, protect it, make it faster, but don't cut it. BNVA, simplify it. Automate the bank rec, batch the reconciling items, reduce the manual steps, keep the control. NVA, eliminate it, replace the email chase with a system feed, formalize the upstream handoff so the data arrives without asking. So here's your exercise. Go to your customized task list from lesson 2. I hope you did your homework. For each task, fill in 2 things. First, column G through K. I know it's a lot. Supplier, input, process, output, customer. Who gives you the data, what you get, what you do, what you produce, and who needs it. If a task has multiple suppliers, list them all. For the data request task, check whether the sample suppliers match your organization. If your GR confirmation comes from the warehouse supervisor and not the operations manager, change the column G. Second, column N and M. Classify each task, VA, BNVA, or NVA. The test is simple. Does this task directly produce a number, a decision, or a deliverable that a reviewer or regulator consumes? If yes, VA. If no, but it's a required control, BNVA. If neither, NVA. Watch KPI for the dashboard update as you go. When you're done, that percentage is yours. We'll still need to update the targeted duration for the task, but it's getting there. If you get stuck on a task, and you will, write it down. That's the one worth discussing with your team. Amazing work in lesson 3. If you managed to do your homework, congratulations. That's the cornerstone of everything we will build on. But now you know what each task does and whether it has value. But you don't know which tasks control your deadline. In the next lesson, we trace the dependency change through your close and find what we call the critical path. That's the roughly 30% of tasks where a slip means the entire close is late.